Have you ever wondered why the moon seems to follow you wherever you go? It's a question that has fascinated humans for centuries and is one of the many mysteries surrounding our celestial neighbor. This phenomenon, where the moon appears to be your constant companion, is actually an optical illusion. It's all about perspective and distance. The moon, being about 238,000 miles away from Earth, doesn't change its position drastically as we move. So when we're on the move, the objects nearby, like buildings, trees, and even mountains, shift rapidly in our field of vision compared to the moon. This contrast creates the illusion that the moon is following us, steadfast and unchanging, in our journey through the night. So, next time you feel like the moon is your personal chaperone, remember it's just an optical illusion. This is just the beginning, so stay tuned as we delve deeper into the moon's intriguing mysteries. Did you know that we only ever see one side of the moon from Earth? This is not due to some cosmic trickery, but rather because of the moon's synchronous rotation. This term might sound like it's straight out of a science fiction novel, but it's simply a way to describe how the moon rotates on its axis at the same rate that it orbits Earth. This means that the same lunar hemisphere always faces us, while the other, the so-called dark side, remains out of sight. But let's clear up a common misconception. The term dark side of the moon doesn't imply that it's shrouded in eternal darkness. Quite the opposite, in fact. This hidden hemisphere receives just as much sunlight as the side we see. It's dark in the sense that it's mysterious and unseen, not because it lacks light. The dark side of the moon isn't dark at all, it's just hidden from our earthly gaze. Have you noticed how the tides are highest during a full moon? This isn't just a coincidence, there's a mysterious scientific explanation behind it. The moon, in its celestial dance with Earth, exerts a gravitational pull on our planet. This pull affects everything, but it's most noticeable on the water bodies, causing the rise and fall we know as tides. Now, imagine the moon and Earth as two dancers. When they're closest together during a full moon, the dance becomes more intense, and so does the moon's gravitational pull. This is when we experience the highest tides, or what we call spring tides. But it's not just the moon at work here. The sun also has a role, albeit a lesser one due to its distance. When the sun, moon, and Earth align during a full moon, the combined gravitational pull results in these extreme tides. So the full moon doesn't just light up the night, it also pulls our oceans. What if I told you the moon is shrinking? Yes, you heard it right. Our celestial neighbor, the moon, is slowly but surely getting smaller. This isn't just some whimsical idea, but a fact supported by robust scientific evidence. The moon's shrinkage is due to a process called lunar contraction. As the moon's interior cools, it contracts. This contraction causes the surface to wrinkle and shrink, much like a grape transforming into a raisin. Over the past several hundred million years, the moon has become about 150 feet skinnier. Now, you might be wondering about the implications of this phenomenon. Well, the most noticeable effect is the creation of moonquakes. These are similar to earthquakes, but occur on the moon due to the tectonic activity generated by its contraction. In the grand scheme of things, our moon is slowly but surely losing weight. So next time you gaze up at the night sky, remember that our constant companion is subtly changing right before our eyes. Ever thought about what the moon is made of? Well, it's not cheese, if that's what you're thinking. The moon's surface is covered in a fine, powdery substance known as lunar dust, or regolith. This isn't your average household dust, though. Lunar dust has some peculiar properties that make it a fascinating subject of study. For starters, it's incredibly sharp, like tiny shards of glass, which can pose a serious threat to space equipment and astronauts alike. This dust also has a knack for clinging onto things due to the moon's low gravity and lack of atmosphere. This makes it quite a nuisance, sticking to spacesuits, clogging instruments, and even potentially harming astronauts' health. The moon's dusty mystery doesn't stop there. Lunar dust has a strange glow about it, a phenomenon that's puzzled scientists for years. This glow could be due to sunlight hitting the dust, but the exact reason remains a mystery. Moon dust might look harmless, but it's a real challenge for space exploration. Did you know our moon once had a magnetic field stronger than Earth's? A fact that might sound like a line straight from a science fiction novel, but it's true. This lunar magnetism is an ancient relic of the moon's past, a time when it was teeming with volcanic activity and its core was molten. Scientists discovered this through the study of moon rocks brought back by the Apollo missions. These rocks, magnetized in a way that could only be explained by a powerful magnetic field, became celestial detectives, revealing the moon's magnetic history. But why did this magnetism disappear? Well, as the moon cooled over billions of years, its core solidified, causing the magnetic field to slowly fade away. The moon we see today is a silent sentinel, its magnetic personality long since vanished. The moon's magnetic past is a puzzle that scientists are still trying to piece together. And every discovery brings us a step closer to understanding our closest celestial neighbor. Have you noticed how the moon seems to change its position in the sky? This is due to its elliptical orbit. Unlike a perfect circle, an ellipse is stretched out more like an oval. Because of this, the moon's distance from Earth isn't constant. It varies throughout its orbit. At its closest point, known as perigee, the moon is about 226,000 miles from Earth. Conversely, when it's farthest away, or at apogee, the moon is approximately 252,000 miles away. This fluctuating distance not only causes the moon to appear to move across the sky, but it also affects its apparent size. When the moon is at perigee, it can look up to 14% larger than when it's at apogee. So, if you've ever wondered why the moon sometimes seems bigger or smaller, or appears in different parts of the sky, now you know. Our moon sure knows how to keep things interesting with its changing positions. Ever noticed how animals behave strangely during a full moon? It's not just horror movie lore, but a fascinating observation scientists have been studying. For instance, in the thickets of Africa, lions are less likely to hunt during a full moon, possibly due to increased visibility. Contrastingly, owls become more vocal, filling the night with their haunting calls. During the full moon, our oceans see an increase in the activity of marine life. Corals especially are known to spawn en masse, painting the sea in a vibrant spectacle of life. Scientists believe that the moon's bright light serves as a cue for these events. On the other side of the spectrum, nocturnal rodents like mice and rats become more cautious, limiting their activities to avoid predators. There's also anecdotal evidence suggesting pets may behave differently, though research is still ongoing. The moon's influence on Earth isn't just tidal, it may also affect our animal friends. The natural world is indeed a stage where the moon's mysteries play out in fascinating ways. Did you know some cultures believe in the moon's healing powers? Since time immemorial, the moon has held a special place in the folklore and traditions of various societies. In many cultures, moonlight is considered a source of healing and rejuvenation. For instance, some indigenous tribes in the Americas have rituals involving moon bathing, where they bask in the moonlight to cleanse their spirit and rejuvenate their bodies. In the Eastern world too, the moon is seen as a symbol of health. Traditional Chinese medicine often incorporates lunar cycles into holistic healing practices. The concept of moon bathing, where one sits under the moonlight, is believed to enhance spiritual well-being, promote relaxation, and even boost physical health. However, it's important to note that these beliefs are largely anecdotal and not supported by scientific evidence. But regardless of whether you believe in the moon's healing powers or not, the lunar influence on our cultures and traditions remains a fascinating mystery. While science may not back these beliefs, the moon's influence on our culture is undeniable. Ever wondered how the moon came into existence? The moon's beginnings are shrouded in mystery, with several theories grappling to explain its formation. Let's delve into the most compelling one, the giant impact hypothesis. According to this theory, about 4.5 billion years ago, a celestial body the size of Mars, often referred to as Theia, collided with Earth. The violent impact resulted in a large chunk of Earth and Theia being ejected into space, gradually coalescing to form our moon. But here's the catch. If this theory were entirely correct, the moon's composition would be significantly different from Earth's, which isn't the case. So despite the giant impact hypothesis being the most accepted one, it doesn't entirely explain the moon's composition or its isotopic similarities with Earth. Thus, the moon's origins remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of our solar system. We've uncovered some fascinating mysteries about our moon, haven't we? From its intriguing connection with our planet that pulls the tides and influences animal behavior, to the enigmatic dark side that forever hides from our view. We've delved into its shrinking size, a phenomenon that continues to puzzle scientists, and the dusty mystery that surrounds its barren, cratered surface. We've explored the moon's ancient magnetism, a relic of its fiery birth, and marveled at its unusual orbit, a dance that has lasted billions of years. We've even touched upon the moon's reported healing powers, a belief held by many cultures around the world. And of course, we've pondered over the moon's mysterious beginnings, a cosmic event that still holds more questions than answers. Each of these facts adds another layer to the moon's mystique, reinforcing our sense of wonder and intrigue about our closest celestial neighbor. Next time you gaze up at the full moon, remember there's more to it than meets the eye.